Yo, what's going on, Latin Wealth family? Welcome to another episode to Wealth Wednesday, a new weekly shows that we're putting out dedicated to educating the Latino community about uh, news and just relevant things that are going on in our society today. So, for example, on this episode today, we're going to be talking about the housing market and if it's becoming more affordable or less affordable. We're also going to be diving into a dope story about two Latino entrepreneurs that have created vegan leather using Cactus. Pretty dope. We'll dive into that. And we're also going to dive into how to network, right? Networking is essential when we're talking about building community, business, entrepreneurship, and just developing as a person. Very essential. So we're going to be diving into all three of those topics today. Before we do that, we got to do two things. Number one, if you can share this episode with just two other people out there, two other people that need to hear this information, these topics, or maybe a previous episode you heard, let the people know. Share this episode with somebody. Hit those three dots in the corner. Share it on Facebook, Instagram. Text it out to a couple different people. That would mean the world to us. We come on here every single week consistently to get you guys this information and these quality interviews as well. So if you can do that for us, that'd be amazing. And the second thing is, Jeremiah, bro, what's going on? How are you doing today?
I'm blessed, bro. I'm blessed. I'm super excited about us hopping into the topics that we have today. And like I said, I challenge my guys. You got to get those two people,
Yeah.
man. We got to get them out, because this is pertinent information. And Chris, we're super appreciative of obviously the platform that you built, and we want to make sure that everybody's having access to this information. So
Absolutely,
for sure.
absolutely. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. But let's jump right into it, man. How to network. This is something that we hear all the time. We hear that we need to do it, but how do we network, right? Especially for introverts out there that are young or people that are even
Mm.
older that have never networked with anybody. Maybe they've been working at jobs their whole life and they're stepping into entrepreneurship or business and they hear they need a network, but like, yo, how do I do this, right? Like I'm so accustomed to just being to myself and just just showing up to work. You don't need to necessarily do any of that, right? So, talk to us, bro. Like, what are your thoughts on networking? I have a couple bullet points as well we can dive into.
So for me, I'm always the type of person that anytime that I stepped away, because I did a professional job as well. I was a chemical engineer for about 15 years, right? Along with my financial business, I was doing that, growing that agency. But during that time, I was doing a regular 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'll say about it is as you step into, like you said, into the world of entrepreneurship, you're gonna have to network, right? And you're going to want to know how to properly do that because there's a million different ways. There's a plethora of different gurus and people that are going to tell you to do all these different
Mm-hmm.
things. Look, today, me and Chris are just going to give you practical steps and keep it very, very
Simple.
simple. I'm going to be honest. You're going to have to talk to people. If you're going to be
Mm-hmm.
an entrepreneur, you're going to have to talk.
100%.
Being an introverted entrepreneur means your company most likely is going to be a broke entrepreneurial
Mm-hmm.
endeavor. That's where that about ends up. Just keeping it
Mm-hmm.
honest, right? But with that being said, first bullet for me, or first step for me, is seeking the proper information or the proper structure, right, for your networking. For that, I want to try to suggest something. And what I'll suggest is this book. It's GoPro, and it's 7 Steps to Becoming a Network Marketing Professional, and it's by Eric Worre. This totally changed my life when it came to me understanding the way to network, me understanding leads and indirectly the whole business structure of how to build
Mm-hmm.
out like client acquisition, continuous client acquisition. How do I approach people? How do I thank people? All in that book. Shameless plug to him, but yeah, totally changed my life. GoPro, that's number one. It'll give you the instructions of how to lay the framework. And then number two is get you self development, right? Self development is a major, major thing when it comes to you and networking and networking can be combined with your self development in going to seminars
Mm-hmm.
that help to build your brain, help to build your brand, help to build your marketing skills, help to build your mental and understanding how to process things properly. And at those seminars, you'll meet other people who are just like you, who have, different industries. They come from different other points of view, different other sectors, and you can meet with them, combine your talents with them, or partner up with them.
Mhm.
And so for me, like I said, number one is getting the proper information. GoPro, I suggest that. And then number two was obviously making sure that you do self development. And seminars and stuff are great, right? So invest in yourself. That's the greatest investment that you'll ever have when it comes to your networking.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, I want to hit on so you kind of understand like why you need a network, kind of the mindset of networking, but also you're probably curious, where should I be networking at? Like where should I go? So I want to give you guys three places that I personally have went and continue to go to build my network. I do all three of these things still to this day, and I'm sure Jeremiah does as well. Number one, in-person events, networking events. It's funny, be when I first moved to Dallas, I think it was like 3 days into the week. It was the weekend already, and I was already hitting a networking event out here, just trying to like get to know people, connect with people, and just to see who's out here, meet people and whatnot. So look in your area whether there's networking events. I think if you go on, not Eventbrite, what's the website that shows you the different events that are going on in your area? Like there's a website, I forgot the name of it. I'll link it down below, but you can type in like,
Eventbrite does it as well.
you said what? It does,
Eventbrite does
it
it as
does it as well,
well.
right? So yeah, you can go.
But you're probably saying be more specific.
Yeah, it might be in,
Meetup? Is it like
it
Meetup?
might be. It might be where you can type in your
Okay.
address or type in your location and then type in what type of meetup or event you want to attend. And a bunch of them usually come up. For me, I follow people on social media that I would love to connect with, or maybe they're in an industry that I want to be in. And, they have networking events, they have masterminds and different things that you can attend. And so anytime I come across one, it doesn't matter what city it's in. I've been to networking events in Chicago, New York, Florida, all over the place. I'm going, right? Especially if it's a speaker there or people that I know are going to be there that I want to connect with. Definitely want to do that. And to attest to what Jeremiah said, when you go, you're gonna be uncomfortable because you're gonna have to talk to people, right? So like you gotta learn how to talk to people and just like put yourself out there. Number two, if networking events maybe isn't an option for you, maybe you're still trying to get confident in yourself, you're maybe an introvert, social media. If you guys look at all the guests I've ever had on my podcast, I reached out to them via social media, sent them a DM like, yo, got a podcast, would love to have you on, would love to connect with you. And in 9 times out of 10, if they see the message, they say yes. They want to connect, they want to share their story. From there, we build a relationship. Perfect example, Jeremiah and I had him on the podcast, and here we are. We got our own weekly show on the podcast. So and there's been a ton of people that I've connected through social media that I've literally never met in person, that I consider them like good friends. Like this is like damn near my family right here. I met Jeremiah one time in person, but this is my guy right here, right? And we met on social. So social media, I specifically rock with Instagram, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is definitely a professional place to network and associate with people. And then the third place, so we got number one, networking event, number two, social media, and number three, I'm just gonna say be outside. And what I mean by that is when you're in the gym, if you go to the bar, if you know what I'm saying, if you go golfing, whatever the case is, the grocery store, be more open to having conversations with people, right? And I know at the gym, it's usually our time to like focus and whatnot. But I'll be honest, sometimes I'll go in the sauna, I'll take my headphones off and just see if I can kind of spark a conversation with somebody and just chop it up. You never know who you're sitting next to. You never know who's in the same room as you. So, again, if you like going to the bar, if you like golfing or whatever the case is, or just if you're out on Target, like challenge yourself to like, yo, today let me meet one new person. Let me see if I can connect with one person. It's not like you trying to holler at people. It's just like, yo, how are you doing? What do you do for work? Are you from Dallas? And that typically will take you into a different conversation. But for me, those are the three different places that I network, that I meet people. And I mentioned it. We mentioned it before. We have a men's group, and on that men's group, I think probably 95% of them I've never met in person, but these are guys that I'll probably go to war for, and I met met them on social media or word of mouth. Right?
We like
Yeah,
that then.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But did you have anything else on that? I think I have one more thing I wanted to get off my chest about the networking.
No, man, go ahead. I think that you're giving game. I'm taking notes over here myself, so go
No,
ahead,
I was
brother.
just gonna say when, and we're gonna wrap this up soon. This segment, um, when you are messaging people on social media, specifically LinkedIn, I know Jeremiah, you get this all the time. People will spam you with their service and what they have to offer and what they want you to buy from them. Do not do
I'm
that,
disinterested.
bro.
I'm disinterested.
Delete.
Like I'm telling you, I don't even. Hey, how are you, dude? I'm done. I'm done. I'm like, yo, we're not doing
No,
this.
no. So
I'm done.
our point is don't be that person to just copy and paste and send the same thing to 100 people being like, hey, I have this service, I have this product, are you interested? Don't do that. Don't be that person. Try, if there's somebody that you want to reach out to, look at it from a different perspective. Be more personal, right? Ask them, how are you doing? It's great to connect with you. What do you enjoy about your industry? Something that's personal, right? Think about it in real life. Would you go up to somebody with a paragraph of information and say, yo, would you buy this? You would never do that in real life in person, right? So approach social media how you would approach real life. You know what I'm saying? And man, I don't know if I should give away all the game. I don't know. What do you think?
You got to hold some back. You got to hold some back because we got courses that's coming up.
We got all that. Okay, so look, we gave you guys. I think we gave you guys a solid information about how to network.
Some gems.
There's definitely some other things that you can do to help you get your foot in the door. I think what we'll do is maybe one of these weeks we'll do a segment on if you're trying to apply for a job, how to get your foot in the door, how to
Yep.
stand out, and for a role, right? So I think that's something we can do as well. But yeah, check out the book, check out the different places to network with people. And yeah, I mean, with that being said, anything else on networking? We want to give you that information quick, valuable, straight to the point.
Just want to make sure they got practical steps, man. They got a book and they got gems. So you should have took notes and took notes over the book. So there we go.
Yep.
We on
Yep.
it.
Speaking about taking notes, I know everybody's been taking notes and looking at the real estate market. Everybody's been curious. Everybody's been wondering what's going on, what's going to happen, right? So there's an article that just came out by Market Insider. It states, well, the headline of the article is the housing market has never been this unaffordable for new home buyers, right? So basically, the
Man,
article states the group's purchase application payment index hit a record high. Now, stay with me. I know we're putting out some big words here, right? So that all-time high is indicating that it's a declining affordability for new home buyers. So anytime that you hear the purchase application payment index high up, that means it indicates that borrowers are not really able to afford um, you know, uh, help me out, Jeremiah. They can't really afford the conditions, right? If it's lower, it's
no,
obviously,
they
yep, yep,
they can't afford the economic
yeah.
conditions. Yeah, you can't afford. Basically, you can't afford to get in a
Yeah.
house.
So, and that could be due to increasing loan amounts, the mortgage rates going up, and also maybe even a decrease in earnings. Right. This year, we've been seeing a mass of layoffs from different companies, so
Yeah,
people have been losing their salaries and whatnot. So, just a couple other points to keep it rolling a little bit. The national medium income, I'm sorry, the national medium mortgage payment in April was a little over $2,000 a month. That was the
yep.
medium mortgage payment was a little over $2,000 a month. Out of the 25 largest cities in America, only St. Louis, Detroit, Chicago, and Baltimore qualify as affordable. which is crazy. And then Idaho, Nevada, Arizona, Florida, and California seeing the highest readings and the highest rates. Idaho was a little interesting to me. I didn't expect it to be that high, but yeah, um, yeah. So that's what's going on with that, man. What are your
And
thoughts?
I mean, the breakdown of that. Let's start with the. I'll go backwards. Idaho, Idaho is more expensive, and the growth you see in that is because Californians are moving to Idaho. They're moving to the
True,
Boise
true,
area,
true.
and so what you see is if I sell my home in California for $950,000, I go into a market where the houses are 250, three hundred
Hmm.
thousand dollars. I have cash in my pocket.
Right.
And so to outbid everybody, I'll tell the guy, "Hey, I'm going to pay you $600,000 for this house that's only worth 300,000 in the market." Well, you get enough of those people doing that, and what happens is the market begins to shift up. And so in Idaho, what you see is that the market is shifting up in response to Californians that are moving in and increasing the market value of stuff simply because they're willing to pay outrageous numbers. We saw the same thing happen in Austin,
Hmm.
in Texas,
Hmm.
right? Austin's the only place basically is Little California. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
Everyone moved from California. They're the tech giants. People move from there. Austin's like the number two highest place to live in the United States now.
Crazy.
This is the way that things have happened, and going and then moving forward, moving back from that. Now, a lot of people, what they end up seeing is that their money doesn't go as far as it used to go.
Hmm.
Inflation's crazy, right? And so you already have, I'm going to break it down for you. You have building homes, new home builders, they're seeing increased prices to actually build a home because the raw materials are more expensive. Given relationships that we have, right, the strain on the dollar and all this stuff that we have, you see the dollar falling off, and then import costs of materials and stuff cost more. They turn that cost over to who? To the purchasers of the home.
Hmm.
These are all things that are going just, across the board.
Hmm.
And then not to mention, obviously, mortgage rates are high right now,
Hmm.
like 6%, 5.5 to 6%. So it's expensive to borrow money. So not only is my dollars that I have in my bank account right now failing in value, right, or they're losing value, now it's more expensive. So I need even more of those dollars to purchase or get a loan because I'm having to pay out, 5.5 to 6% interest on a loan that used to cost me 2.9 just 2 years ago.
Hmm.
In 2021, you were looking literally, that's what you were looking at. You were looking at 2.9% interest on a home. Everybody was going in, right? And COVID, all this stuff was happening. Now we're coming out of it, and it's just, it's leaving people in a bad place. And lastly, the layoffs that are occurring. People, here's the thing: you can prepare yourself for 3 to 9
Yep.
months
Yep.
of income, right? But you don't prepare for years of loss of
100%.
income due to what? Due to losing your job. You don't prepare for that. You can prepare for, maternity leave or something like that. But most people, even I looked at the numbers, right? So 80% of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings.
Hmm.
So if you're looking juxtaposed to the $2,000, right? You got $2,000. The median rent is 2,000. That means they're taking the extremes highs, the extreme lows, right? And the
Yep.
median and somewhere in the middle. If I put all those numbers together,
Yep.
right in the middle is $2,000. But if I have less than $1,000 in savings and I lose my job, I'm living paycheck to
Hmm.
paycheck. I'm the working poor.
Hmm.
So now I'm in a position where I can't even purchase a home if I get kicked out of this one because on my record it says that I just defaulted on the loan. So there's all
Hmm.
this stuff that's going on. That's the breakdown basically for me when I see stories like this. I'm looking at and maybe it's because like my engineer brain or something, but I just start to look at the underlying factors as to why these things are happening. And it's super important that us as just people that are homeowners, in different generations. Chris, I know probably a couple of weeks ago something I said and people kind of shocked, but our generation, we're not hard set on purchasing homes.
Oh, just gonna, yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
for investment purposes,
Yeah.
maybe, but we're not hard set on buying something for ourselves to live in because why? I'm paying that money, and that money that I put into purchasing the home, I don't have access to that money anymore. It's spent,
Yeah. It's gone. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're not going to have access to equity for
Hmm.
years. So what could you do with the home? You're like, oh, well, I can resell it. Yeah, if you're not upside down. And so a lot of people in our generation, the millennials, Generation Z, they're saying, I don't know if it's my dream to just buy a
Yeah.
home to live
Yeah.
in. Plus, I like around. I like doing different things. And so I'm saving money on rent. And rent is sometimes more affordable now than purchasing a home.
Yeah.
So
No,
that's where, yeah,
no,
man,
no.
wild.
That's a really good point. I was actually going to bring that up because a lot of people, like you said, millennials, Gen Zs, are seeing renting as maybe a cheaper alternative, right? Because we said
It is.
the median mortgage payment is $2,112 a month, right? That's just a mortgage. That's not including the upkeep of the house and maybe any expenses, right? And I know
Oh my
there's
God.
pros and cons to renting and
Yeah,
owning.
but I've talked about that. And that's an old, like, I won't say old. That's like Generation X and back, right? They'll push that on you, but like, really, like you just said, set and look at the expenses, bro. If your AC goes out, that's
Yeah,
$3,500 for that AC unit. That's out of your
that's it.
pocket. Nobody else is
Yeah.
paying that. The maintenance of a home, homeowners
Hmm.
association, property taxes.
Hmm.
I'm just
So
saying,
what?
how much? If I invested that money, how much of that money? What would that do for me
100%.
instead of going?
Yeah, and it's crazy because, like you said, AC goes out in this apartment. We just call the maintenance team. They come in and fix it. That's it.
Somebody come,
Yeah.
yeah, come fix it.
So, what are your thoughts about this? Because I came across this quote, and it's probably been maybe a year since I heard it, and it's always stuck with me. The guy in this video said, "It's best if you can rent where you want to live and buy where you can afford." So his thing is,
100%.
if you want to live in downtown Miami, downtown Dallas, wherever, and you can
Rent
afford
something.
that, go ahead and rent and do that. But from there, buy where you can afford. So to me, it kind of makes sense because now you can purchase a property that you're not going to necessarily live there, but maybe you can buy it, fix and flip, buy it so somebody can rent it out, um, or so forth, right? So to me, that makes a lot of sense. What are your thoughts about that?
That's 100% correct, and that's a millennial way of thinking, right?
Yeah,
I'm going to purchase a lot of cities, inner cities now are gentrified, and so yeah, rent is high, but it gives you the views. You have the access to the shopping, access to whatever entertainment stuff that's part of that city. I can rent something for 2,400, live in a nice penthouse right there, in a nice apartment downtown, and then I can purchase a home on the exterior on in the suburbs, and then if anything, it's probably nicer. If it's not, I can fix it up for minimal of the cost of what I would have if
100%.
I would have tried to purchase something in the city,
Yeah.
and then I can flip it and I'm making money. So yeah, that's 100% correct. I'd go by that all day. That's the way to do it. Rent where
Mm-hmm.
you want to live and purchase where you can afford. It's 100% correct. Yep.
Mm, yep, yep, love that. So definitely wanted to bring that to you guys and share that information. Very interesting stuff that's going on in the real estate market right now. We actually on our men's call we had somebody in the real estate industry on the call, and he was kind of giving us some game. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
historically, real estate has always risen and will continue to rise, right? So, like I said, it's pros and cons. Do your due diligence, do what's best for you. I know there's some people that will probably argue against what we're saying night and day, right? But yeah, I mean, at the end of the
And
day,
they could, and they
yeah,
could,
for
and
sure,
I'm no shade against them, but I bet that they're real estate agents or a broker, right?
true.
So and nothing wrong with that. It would benefit. Everyone's going to say something that's going to benefit, and you can look at it from different perspectives. I'm going to say something positive for their perspective. In 1980, the rates was like 11 and a half, 12% for a loan on a
Yeah,
house, right? And so it isn't that we've never seen these numbers before. It'll go back down. I won't promise it'll go back down to 2.9 because that was
mm-hmm.
dang near impossible. It was robbing. It helped to be why we're at where we're at, but no, it'll go back down though. So it's whatever your goal is. Let's say that.
a hundred
What's your
percent,
financial goal?
100%.
Let me say that. It's what's your financial goal is. I just who the people I sit down with, the more millennials, they're more ambitious and focused on doing some other things. And so it fits better into their plan to do things that way.
It's funny
It
because
also depends on where you live too.
100%, yeah. It's funny because the other day I was speaking to a young lady that I had on the podcast, and she was saying that she sold her home in California and moved to Dallas, Texas in 2019. So right before like COVID and all that, and she was saying like She was just smiling like my mortgage rate is stupid low.
I know she was.
She was smiling hella
I
big. I'm
know she
like, man, that's
was
like
because she
perfect
what she
timing, bro.
man. Wow,
Perfect
that's
timing. Yeah.
amazing. It is
Yeah.
perfect time. And I actually moved. Here's the backwards. I moved from Texas to California in 2019.
Wow. Crazy. Interesting. Do you just real quick, do you plan on staying in Northern California? You and I spoke about it offline.
No,
So let me yeah, you talk to the
yeah,
people real quick.
no,
You
no.
say
I
no.
know I'm not. I mean, everybody, however, whatever. Everybody's got their own opinion. Californians will tell you California is the greatest thing ever. I'll say this. I wasn't. I'm not used to the taxes, so I don't like state taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously the cost of living is super expensive. Very beautiful. I'm not, however,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, right? But I'm a tropical guy, so I
Mm-hmm.
got to be more in a tropical feeling, man. I need some palm trees and some warm ocean. Can't do the
I
cold
heard
water,
that.
man.
I heard that. I heard that. Love that. So, yeah, dope. Moving on a little bit, we got a couple more minutes. We want to hit on this last story, this last topic that we came across. Very
Phenomenal.
interesting and phenomenal story. Two Mexican entrepreneurs just created leather out of cactus leaves, right? So, two entrepreneurs from Mexico has created vegan leather out of cactus leaves, which is it's crazy, right? It's just super innovative. The vegan leather is partially biodegradable, yet biodegradable. There you go.
Biodegradable, mhm.
Man. So what that means, it's basically it's flexible, it's
Which just means
breathable.
it breaks down people.
Yeah, yeah. So it's flexible, it's
Yeah.
breathable, and it can last for at least 10 years, is what they're stating. The material feels like animal based leather, and companies can use it as furniture, for car interiors, leather accessories, and clothing. We definitely wanted to bring this up because not only is it dope that two Latinos have created this type of leather, but also when you're speaking about the environment and clothing and whatnot, you guys know how bad creating clothes is for the environment. So they said the vegan leather is also projected to help reduce plastic waste by 30 to 42%, could lower water consumption by 20%. And there's also some companies out there that are already crafting cruelty-free leather. There's a footwear brand named No Saints where they basically turn food waste into vegan leather sneakers. And Porsche, of course, Porsche. There a new electric car can be ordered in with a vegan leather interior. What are your thoughts about this?
I mean, anytime that you have, I love science, right? And I love this type of stuff. This is phenomenal. Anytime that you have two Latino entrepreneurs that are on the forefront, right, on the cutting edge of science and doing things that's just crazy, right? I mean, think about it. You got cactuses everywhere. You go
Mm-hmm.
to the desert out here, Chris, what you were telling me, what is it, the Inland Empire or whatever? You go down that
Mm-hmm.
way, Palm Desert, Palm City, Palm
Everywhere.
Springs, all that. You got cactus everywhere, right? Get into Arizona, same thing. So it's plentiful. It's going to lower the consumption of animals, right? Which then that's less harmful on the actual environment. I mean, it's a win-win,
Yeah.
right? I mean, and think about it. We can convert this. It could be broken down, and probably when you take that out, or if you're not using it anymore, you could turn those bags into something. It could be repurposed, and
Mm-hmm.
reused for something else. So that's
Yeah.
another thought process. It's sustainable, so you gotta love it. I think it's
Yeah. A hundred
phenomenal, man, and I
percent.
hope that they have great success with it. Hopefully, they get. Yeah,
100%,
I'll
100%.
buy
Yeah.
it.
No, 100%. What's interesting is with cactus as well. You don't. I mean, they can survive what damn near off of no water. So it's not like you're watering them. It's not like you're upkeeping them or anything like that. Like, they can pretty much survive on their own. It's the only thing that I'm kind of conflicted with it. And this is just me being playing devil's advocate, right? So let's look at it. If we put vegan
In a
leather
car.
in a car, if we put vegan leather, let's just say Louis Vuitton comes out with a bag that's vegan leather, how long is that joint gonna last? You know what I'm saying? Like, we want our luxury items to
Listen,
hold value. You know?
The thing about it is, for me, like, if it's only gonna last 3 4 years, then that means there's a price reduction. They're gonna have to start looking at price
Yep.
reductions, and if you know that it's vegan leather and where it comes from, you're gonna have to cut that stuff. Instead of $2 or $3,000 for that, it's only gonna be $500,
Mm-hmm.
$300. You have to, because it's not gonna last.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, for sure. Um, yeah, I mean, I think it's a great move. You know, when you look at fast fashion companies, they create an absurd amount of clothing. When I say fast fashion, I'm talking about like Forever 21, H&M. What's the new
Forever
one?
21.
Fashion Nova,
Mhm.
where they just pumping out all these
Fashion
clothes,
Nova,
right? Yeah, Fashion Nova. The U.S. discards over 2,000 pieces of clothing every second. So if you can only imagine, like if we can maybe take off some of them leather pieces and replace it with vegan leather, it could only help the environment that much more. And I'm not trying to come on here and be a tree hugger, but super innovative. You know, glad to see it's people from our community that are taking advantage of what the earth is given. So, love to see it.
for sure. I think
Absolutely.
that we should just continue to obviously support these guys. I'm going to be super interested to figure out where this story goes, and in the future, see if I can buy some, and
Mhm.
see if the quality, if there's a difference between the quality.
Yeah.
If they get it
Yeah.
adapted by somebody major, let's say a Tesla or somebody like that, get it adapted by somebody major, it'll take off. So good luck to them.
Man, it would take off crazy. Yeah. So, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed these topics. As always, we're going to leave the links to every single one of these articles in the description of this podcast. Feel free to share this episode with two other people out there. Jeremiah, any last words before we head out of here?
No, man, I'm just super grateful for everybody that tunes in every single week. We appreciate you guys. We see the numbers growing. Like Chris said, share it with two people. We thank you guys. We love the support and everything. And then let us know in the comments whenever you share this and you're on the page. Drop down in the comments and give us some suggestions. Give us some things you want to hear about. Maybe there's something you want to hear me talk about. Maybe Chris, you want to hear Chris. Write it down for us. We want to make sure that we're providing value to you guys. So thank you again.
Yep, absolutely. With that being said, it's a lot most family. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace.